Hello, this is a short video on CAT shortcuts. Basically, I'll take a sum and try to explain you how important it is using options as far as the exam is concerned. I'm Patrick. I have scored 100 percentile in CAT before. Now this is sum, and a similar sum has come in the examination. CAT 15 had exactly or similar sum which you could have solved in a similar method. So we'll look at the sum and see how traditionally we solve the sum and how we can solve using options or any other method. Normally when people solve the sum, they look at the sum and see how to use a formula. Try to put x and then try to go about solving it. So in this case, you have two vessels of 20 liters. So the first vessel is filled with alcohol. So let's say and the question asked is, how much alcohol was initially poured from the first vessel into the second? So here let me assume that x liters has gone from first to second. That's x from first to second. So it was 20. So this becomes x liters and this becomes 20 minus x liters of alcohol. Now this is filled with water. So the amount of alcohol in this second mixture is x upon 20. Now you are taking x liters from the second to the first, which means the amount of alcohol that you are removing from the second to put in the first is x upon 20 into x, which is in 20 liters, if there is x liters alcohol, so in x liters how much it will be, which will get as x square upon 20. So now the amount of alcohol in the first mixture is 20 minus x plus x square upon 20. In the second it is x minus x square upon 20. Now you are removing 6 2/3 from the first to put in the second. So in 20 liters this is the amount. In 6 2/3 it is how much? So in 20 liters the amount of alcohol is 20 minus x plus x square upon 20. So in 6 2/3 it is how much? If you solve it, 1, 3, 1/3 of this. That means you are removing 1/3 of this and putting on the other side. So what is left is 2/3. So the amount of alcohol in the first case is 2/3 of 20 minus x plus x square upon 20. And the second it is x minus x square upon 20 plus you are adding 20 minus x plus x square upon 20. Now since the alcohol in both this is same, now you equate it. Bring this here if you want. You will solve it. It becomes 20 minus x plus x square upon 20 upon 3 is equal to x minus x square upon 20. If you solve this equation, you get a quadratic equation which is x square minus 20x plus 100 equal to 0, which you can solve and get the answer. So x will become 10. So it is not possible to solve using equations. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's possible, but it will take a hell lot of time to get this. So let's look at how to solve using options. So normally when we use options, you always try to take the middle option and the easiest option. So the easiest option obviously is 10 liters. The idea of taking the middle option is, so we know after some time whether we can take more or less depending on what values we get. An easier option basically to help us to calculate fast. So 20 liters, I'm removing 10 from first and putting in the second. So now 10 liters alcohol, 10 liters alcohol. Fill with water. Now I'm removing, that means now there is alcohol 10 liters and water 10 liters. Now I'm removing 10 liters and putting it back here. When I'm removing 10 liters, 5 liters alcohol will go, 5 liters water will go, and out here you will have 15 liters alcohol and 5 liters water. Because when you're removing 10 liters, 5 and 5 equal quantities of alcohol and water will go because they are of equal quantities. Now I'm removing 6 2/3 out here. So again, 15 liters alcohol out of 20 liters. Out of 6 2/3, how much? So you will get it as 5 liters. That means I'm removing 5 liters from first and putting in the second. So the amount of alcohol remaining in the first is 10 liters. The amount of alcohol in the second is 10 liters. They both are equal and you get the answer. So it takes hardly any time if you use the option. Even if you don't get with the first option you take it, you will understand whether you should take more or less based on what values you get out here. Take one more value and you should be able to get the answer. As far as possible in the exam or when you're practicing, try to use options, other methods apart from using equations. My whole approach while teaching is trying to not use equations as far as possible, because I believe equations make you slow, and if you look at the sums that come in CAT, you can easily solve using options or some other method and not using equations as far as possible. I'm not saying you should not know how to use equations, but the first thing that comes into your mind when you're solving a sum should be using options or some other method of getting the answers. I hope this is clear and hope you understand the importance of using options. Understand this is a sum that come under CAT 15, a similar sum, and this is how the approach should be. Thank you.